Hello everyone, Zenro Gaming coming at y'all with another video. And in today's video, we are doing another deck profile video going over a deck that has gotten support in the newest set that is the Union Arena trading card game Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 2. A lot of decks got support in this set. I have made a video going over the Todo Mekamaru deck, which is definitely my favorite, deck combination and character in the show, but very close is Gojo coming up next for me and my favoritism. So that is the next deck profile you all get because he is one of my favorites. Now, we have gotten a pretty decent overhaul of this deck. This deck is very different. Before, I was running the Nobara package, and now you have no raid targets. You're going to kind of play like a control yellow deck, which is what most yellow decks do pretty well, and you're just gonna have to like push your opponent down through all these big 4K 3500 bodies on the board, and being able to play some really strong events from your hand that will help control, install what your opponents do. And some of these things you'll be able to do for free, right? What I'll do is I'll do a little bit different here. I'm going to go straight down the line from all of the events, and then I'll go through the characters. Whereas in the Gojo or the Todo deck, I went and picked out the very specific ones. I think in this one, I'll go back to how I used to do it, okay? But starting off with the events, we are running 4 of the final triggers, 3 energy, 1 action point. Gotta have these in the deck. And then that is where it gets a little different here. We are going to be running 4 of our kill spell, special trigger in life, Hollow Purple. Very amazing art here of him doing the Hollow Purple from the show. 5 energy, 2 action point. But if Gojo is on your field, reduce this card's action point cost by 1 while in your hand. Choose one character on your opponent's front line and place it into their removal area. So this gets around can't be sideline effects and things like that, which is really, really strong. And now your opponent doesn't get these effects like on deletion stuff, mainly talking about like Nanami and other decks like that. This very directly counters those type of gameplays. Now, we are running a 2-2 package of some other spells there. We are doing Unlimited Void. 4 energy, 1 action point. This is a sight. It's a get trigger in life. 1 energy generation, which is really, really important. Having this on your backline to generate energy. And obviously, this is his domain expansion. When played, choose up to 1 character in your opponent's front line and switch it to resting. It will not switch to active during start and end phases while this sight is on your field. At the end of each attack phase, if Gojo is not on your front line, sideline this sight. So very, very specific that you have to have a Gojo on your front line, but it only checks at the end of your attack phase. So if they do kill your Gojos during their turn, as long as you're able to play another one, this card will stay on the field. We've seen how powerful this is with the new blue bleach deck, being able to use this on a body. Well, this is really cool because we get to generate our energy here and use this, and we're almost always going to be able to have a Gojo. We play a lot of Gojos in the deck. This card is really, really good. And then we are running 2 of a new card, which is Curse Technique Lapse Blue. 4 energy, 1 action point, draw trigger in life, which is really, really good. Sick art here on this card. And then you can only use this card once per turn. You only use 1 Lapse Blue per turn. Choose 1 character with 1 or less energy generation on your opponent's front line and move it to their front line. So really strong. Being able to manipulate your opponent's energy line can straight just up dismantle a lot of decks gameplays when they're trying to, keep their energy how they want it specific. Anything that messes with people's energy is really, really strong. Then if none of your opponent's characters are placed into their removal area due to this effect, you get to draw a card. So if your opponent's front line is full, you play this card, you get to pick an energy card to move up. Now they have to place one of those cards on the front into the removal. So this is like a pseudo another kill spell in the deck. And if you don't kill something, then you get to draw a card and you're messing with their energy lines. So this card is really, really strong, and this has made us take out the red, which is his other spell in the deck. And I do think that there could be some room where you go down on your characters to be able to abuse more of these cards. But I think that that would, require us to run more of this 6-drop Gojo, which I have moved down to just being 2, not being the main focus of the deck. But the last event we are playing is going to be Okinawa Trip. 3 energy, 1 action point. It is a draw trigger in life. And this is your search event for the deck. Look at the top 5 cards of the deck. Reveal up to 2 Gojo, Getos, or Amanai, or Kuroi cards among them and add them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck. This search card is so strong, being able to look at the top 5, grab any 2 of these cards, Add them to your hand and you don't have to send anything back. Very strong consistency piece. You don't really want to run more than 2. I can see maybe the room for 3, but you really just want to play this card once to be able to fill your hand back up. And if you check it in life, it is a draw trigger. So you see we're running a lot of events, a lot of sites, 12 events, 2 sites, but it's because these are all very impactful. You play any of these cards and they really do change the way the game is going. Now, touching on our old Gojo, this is the 6 energy, 2 action point Gojo, 5,000 BP, 1 energy generator. It is a get trigger in life. That's why we can get away with only running 2, because we will be able to see it, whether it's in our life or where we get to search it. He always has impact. He's always a 5k body, and he says, when played, draw a card, reduce the AP cost of the next card you use from your hand this turn, other than Gojo, by 1. So you play him out. He is going to come in rested, which is a little hard to deal with, you know, not having that body, but he'll always have impact, and he's going to let you play the next card you play from your hand for a free cost, which is really, really good. You can play this Gojo down and then be able to activate Hollow Purple from your hand for free, which is the absolute best combo you want to do. But either way, if you don't do that, say you get to do Domain Expansion, play that for free from your hand. That is so strong, giving you 2 action points back, being able to make your turns absolutely insane. This card is still so strong, but I think just the 2 of is good. If you want to find a way to put it the 3, I definitely believe you can. But we do run a lot of other cards that are really, really good and synergize with each other. 2 of that Gojo. Now, going down the line, we are running 3 of the new 5 energy, 1 action point Gojo, 4,000 plus BP. It generates your energy and is a draw trigger in life. And he says during your turn, if on the front line, if Geto is on the same line, or you have a Amane on your field or on your sideline, this character gains 1,000 BP and impact 1, which is really strong. Having a 5,000 BP impact 1 during your turn, just, you know, forever. Like, this guy's going to have that forever as long as you have the Amane in your sideline or you have a Geto on the same line, which, you know, we run a couple of Amanes to be able to have him in there. She's not the main focus. You're mainly going to have it with the Geto, but regardless, this is still a 4K body without even like anything else. Like, that's still not bad. But he also has more text. When played, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Reveal up to 1 curse technique, Lapse Blue, or Reversal Red, or Hollow Purple. Among them, add it to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. If you added a card, you must place 1 card from your hand and to your sideline. So you play this Gojo down. He lets you go and get any of your curse techniques or the Hollow Purple, add them to your hand and sideline something, which is really not bad. It's another searcher for the deck, making it very consistent to find your removal cards. This is a very heavy control deck. It is a little slow, but once you get going, you're going to just keep clearing your opponent's board time after time, and you're going to make it hard for them to be able to stay consistent in what they want to do. Now, a new card is going to be Suguru Geto, 5 energy, 1 action point, 4,000 plus PP, 1 energy generator. It is a get trigger from life, so you're able to add this one to your hand. He says, during your turn, if on the front line, if you have Gojo on the same line, this character and all Gojo characters on your front line gave 500 BP. This card is an absolute powerhouse. This is so strong. Just having a Gojo on the front line now boost all your Gojos and him. Now your characters are going past that 4K threshold and the 5K threshold, being able to swing through and over just about everything else in the game. This effect is so strong. And then he also has activate main, place 1 card from your hand into the sideline. Once per turn, this character generates energy even if it's on the front line until the end of the turn. This effect did not come up very often when I was testing, but if you are ever in a pinch where you need to generate another energy, this is a very versatile card and nice to have that added effect. It could not have that effect and you would still play it because it is just so strong, boosting your board up. But there may be times where late game you don't want to have to play another card on the back line and you need to keep yourself alive, then him generating that energy can come up. We have another new Gojo, 4 energy, 1 action point, 4,000 BP, 1 energy generator, active trigger in life. This Gojo says we are running 3 of this particular one. During your turn, if on the front line, if Geto is on the same line, it gains damage too. The Geto is going to boost him up to 4,500. He's going to be damaged too, and that is so strong. Your opponent's going to have to block this guy. So it's just so strong. Imagine you have that one. You have this one on the line. Now you have, oh my God. You have a 5,500 impact 1, 4,500 damage 2, And even if you have this Gojo out to another 5500 impact one, this top end of the deck is so strong, all played together. And the one card you're going to be missing out on a lot is probably the Geto, but you want to run the Gojos, a lot of Gojos, so that way this Unlimited Void is always able to stay out and keep something tapped down, forcing your opponent to clear something else off the board. Going down the line, this is probably the most controversial card in the deck because it is our color trigger, but I'm only running it at a 3 of. You guys can flame in the chat about it, but I do think that the color trigger Gojo is really, really important. But now we do want to run a lot of this top end because he is good for keeping you in the game, but these characters are going to be your win potential of the game now, right? Like, it's a less, like... This deck is kind of aggro, kind of controlly because you're going to be putting a lot of pressure on your opponent. And this Geto, or this Gojo, is absolutely still so strong, but we don't need to see it quite as much. But running out of the 3 of is really strong. I know the color trigger in color is absolutely OP, but we want to, you know, we got to keep these things kind of evened out. And if I find like I'm missing this one too much, I will up it. But for everyone who doesn't know, this is of course, the double blocker Gojo. That's 3,500 plus BP, which is so strong. And during your opponent's turn, your opponent cannot choose this character with abilities on character or event cards unless they pay 1 additional AP. So if they ever go to try to target this guy with a character or event effect, then now they have to pay an AP. So he's going to be sticky on the board. So you're not really... there's not a lot of times this guy dies outside of you just having to block, which is a little unfortunate, someone forcing you to block with him. But he is absolutely still so strong and important in the deck, and we're running him at a 3 of. We do have a new Geto coming out, another one, 3 energy, 1 action point, 3,000 plus BP, double energy generator, and it says, during your turn, if on the front line, if Gojo is on the same line, or Amane is on your field, or in your sideline, this character gains 1,000 BP. So you see, we have a lot of 4K bodies we're able just to keep pressing down on the board, pushing our opponent with all these 4K bodies. They're going to have to get lucky with some kill spells in life if they don't want to have to trade out their bodies. But he also says, when played, you may pay 1 AP. If you do play up to 1 yellow character with 3 or less required energy and 1 AP cost, and Curse Spirit Affinity from your sideline set to resting on your field. Now, I do not run that card in this deck. It is a really strong card, but you really don't care to do that. You can't search it out with some of these other cards. I know that is a really cool, strong card. Maybe I'll try to find some way to tech it in and mess with the ratios a little bit because it is a really good card. And just so we can, you know, remember what it was, it is the Dragon Spirit that he has when he fights... right here. So Rainbow Dragon, if you want to put this card in the deck, you can, because it actually is really, really strong. I haven't tested with the deck a ton, but this card seems really, really strong. 2 energy, 1 action point. During your opponent's turn, if Geto's on the field, this character gains 1,000 BP. So it could be a 2-drop 4K blocker for you early in the game, and it is an active trigger. I do think that finding a way to fit this card in the deck is really, really good, and I may try to find some way to do so. I'll do some more testing, but at the moment, it's not in the deck, but I do want to find room for it, at least at a 2 of, so that way if it ever does come up, it's still just a good body on the board, right? Now, this is the only Rico Amane that we're running in the deck. So you're gonna, like, this lady is a little annoying to play. She doesn't have a trigger. She's only 500 BP. She does generate you 2 energy. She costs 3 energy to play, which feels real bad. We're only running her for the name. In all the games I tested, I never played her on the field. I trashed her or did other things. Maybe one time I may have played her, but outside of that, I almost never played her. And I found ways to get her into the sideline because she's not a get trigger. But if she had just had draw in her trigger, she would be so much better. But this card is rough to play if on the energy line at the end of your attack phase and your opponent's attack phase, if neither Gojo nor Geto are on your front line, move this character into the front line. Activate main. If on the energy line, switch to resting. Place 1 card from your hand into the sideline. Once per turn, choose 1 Gojo or Geto from your field with 5 or less required energy and switch it to active. So this is a really strong effect. But I just wish she didn't have to move up. I get it. You know, I don't know. I don't really like this card. I feel like it's really clunky. You do kind of have to run it because you want the name. You want the double energy generating. And, you know, her being able to let you trash a card to stand the Gojos and Getos up with 5 or less required energy is really strong, but they did this so that way you can't play this Gojo out and do it, which is what makes it feel so bad because she is a double energy generator. And they did that to directly nerf this card so that way I guess you can't have cool plays like all the aggro decks. I really don't know because it would feel so good for her to be able to let you, have her down, trash a card, let this Gojo be able to get switched to active. Now you got to play another card for free with the impact, 5k 1000 body. But they wanted to nerf Gojo for some weird reason. But this card is a good in the deck. It is really strong. I only put her down to a 2 because to be honest, I was trying to keep the triggers high. The deck is already kind of low on triggers, only at 41. Now, maybe I do some more deck testing, try to find some cards to, switch out. That way we have a couple more triggers. But I do think that you need to run her because that double energy is so important. All these costs being pretty high later in the game. Even though our site does, generate us 1 energy, it does help. But the most part, we had to have all these double energies to, very consistently get this 6 energy for this Gojo. Only 2 of her. Only 3 of the double energy, 3000 BP, 3 energy, 1 action point Gojo, and it just says if there's a blue or purple card in your opponent's field, you get to reduce him by 1 while you're in hand, 1 energy. So the times that you get to play him down on turn 2 feel really good if your opponent played one of those cards out and now you're cheating out the double energy. He does not have a trigger, but he is a 3000 BP body. I'd rather him be the 2500 BP body and then give him a get or draw or active trigger, something like that, and he would be a lot better, but it is essential that we have the double energy generator, so 3 of that one. Now, I know this looks weird, but I'm only running 1 of the Maki active generate 2 and 1 of the Toge return a card to your field, 1 or less to your hand, or if you cannot, because I was kind of needing another 1-drop in the deck because this Toge is the only 1-drop and then this Maki is the only 2-drop. Now, I do think that we need to run these cards at a 1 or 2 of or a 2 of each, but that would require me to go down on all of these Gojos and Getos, putting them at a 2 of, but we really want to see so many of them. But I'm going to do a little more testing. I think that each of these at a 1 of feels a little weird, but it does work. And I think that maybe when I can get more testing it with the deck, I can get it a little more streamlined. Because I don't really like 1-ofs too much in Union Arena, but it does come up where you only want to play this Toge really when you're second going, on your first turn going second, right? Because you could play the Shoko, draw 1, trash 1, then play the Toge, bounce it back to your hand. And in those situations, the Toge feels absolutely amazing, right? So you do want to run this card, and we are running the Maki, which I don't think it's that big of a deal, really. All right, so we are running Shoko. So this is the 1 energy, 1 action point, 2000 BP, 1 energy generator. This is the searcher for the deck. When played, look at the top 4. Reveal it to 1 Gojo or Geto card among them. Add it to your hand. Replace the remaining at the bottom of the deck in any order. If you added a card to your hand, you have to sideline 1 card from your hand. She's also not a trigger, which absolutely sucks. She could have been an active or just something, right, to help the deck out. But they are nerfing our boy into the ground. But she is strong. It's just a searcher. It's a 1-drop. We're mainly running it as a 1-drop to search. We only run the 3 1-drops and then 1 2-drop, but a ton of 3-drops here. So you're really going to want to mulligan for some decent hands with multiple zeros or one of these 1s in it to really get you rolling in the game. Now, we are running 2 of the Kurai, who is 0 energy, 1 action point, 1500 BP, 1 energy generator. It is an active trigger, which is awesome. We love to see active triggers. When played, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Riko or Okinawa trip card among them, add it to your hand, place the remaining cards about your deck in any order. If you added a card to your hand, place 1 card from your hand into the sideline. So it lets you get the Riko right here, or you get the Okinawa trip. So not the best searcher in the deck, but it can come into play when you search. If you get to get something from it, it's awesome, especially when you get the Okinawa trip, because once you grab this card, now you're able to search even more, and it feels really, really good. But she's just a, 0-drop that helps us out a lot, and to be completely honest, we love these other 2 a lot better. So I'm running 4 of the Shoko Ire, 0 energy, 1 action point, 1500 BP, draw trigger in life, which is really, really good. I do kind of wish she was a get trigger, so that way we could consistently see our 0-drops if we are bricked up. But when play, draw 1, then transfer from your hand to the sideline. This is so strong, helping you be able to fuel some cards in your sideline. When you're able to play her and trash the Riko Amani, that feels so good. It is so strong. And like I said, that's what I did in most instances, just to have her in the sideline, so that way we can then get our effects from the Gojo and Getos and not have to worry about having both of them on the front line. And then we are just running 4 of the Sumiki Fushiguro, 0 energy, 1 action point, 500 BP, 1 energy generator, draw trigger in life. This is from the first set, and she has a very generic but a very strong effect. When played, choose one character in your field, it gains 1,000 BP until the end of the turn. Now, it is a draw trigger. That's one of the main reasons I wanted to run this one over some of the other characters, but I do think that, you know, this 1,000 BP does come up pretty often when you're able to boost these current characters, all these 3 drops, outside of, you know, the Amane, up to that 4,000 BP threshold, really be able to let you push your opponent in the state of the game. And don't worry about playing her on turn 1. If that's all you have, you need to play her. It doesn't matter. Like, it's just a 0 drop at that point that you would have played otherwise, but we don't have any 0 drop Gojos that we could play or Geto, so we're running her, and I think her effect is very versatile. Okay, that is the deck profile for our boy. I love this deck. It's a very strong control deck. I do think that this deck is going to need a lot of time for the community and all the people to play it to kind of streamline what are the best cards, what are all the cards we need to see, and this will be one that you see me do another updated deck profile for it because I know I need to test with it a little bit more, but I am really excited for it, and I do think that Gojo decks are going to have a really good time in the meta, really, really strong, being able to have that double blocker and get all these different instances of impact and damage too, and you're really just playing like a 4K rush deck that you can then play some really busted event cards to control your opponent's board, and you never feel like you're out of the game because you always have ways to answer stuff your opponent puts on the board, and I do think that this deck is one to look out for. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please leave the video a like and subscribe to the channel. I will keep making more deck profiles for y'all. Just be on the lookout for them. I appreciate everyone hanging out with me today. Peace.